Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. I offer my pranams to revered Swami Atmaprabhanji Maharaj, who has been most kind and given me a very kind introduction. Yes, as he said, Mu Bhuvaneshwar Pila. And I am always happy to be back here in Bhuvaneshwar, especially this time because I'm coming back after more than 4 years. This talk is especially close to my heart, not only because it's in Bhuvaneshwar, also it's Swami Nivananandaji Memorial Lecture. Swami Nivananandaji is very close to Bhuvaneshwar because he was here in Bhuvaneshwar for a long time. He was the Sevak, the personal attendant of Swami Brahmananda, who established the Bhuvaneshwar Mutt. He was very close to Swami Brahmananda. In fact, one of the books written about Swami Nivanananda is Brahmananda Sevak Nivanananda. I have a personal connection with Swami Nivananandaji. In one sense, my spiritual life owes a lot to him because I was brought to this ashram, introduced to Swamiji and Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada by my parents. And my parents were initiated by Swami Nivananandaji Maharaj. Swami Nivananandaji was the guru of my father and mother. So it's a special honor for me to give this Swami Nivanananda Memorial Lecture. As Maharaj has very ably introduced the subject, the relevance of Sri Ramakrishna, I was just thinking one point. I'll speak about just one aspect of the relevance of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's message is vast and very relevant to our contemporary world. But one special thrust of his message is the harmony of religions. We all know Sri Ramakrishna. If anybody says, do you know any quotations, any famous sayings of Sri Ramakrishna? Everybody will say, Jato mat tato pat. That is the point I want to talk about. As you heard, I have come from New York. In New York, if you say 9/11, it means only one thing. In 2001, this fanatics, the religious fanatics, they hijacked aircraft and they hit the Twin Towers and destroyed it, killing thousands and thousands of people. And then in fact, in New York, people I meet, those who have stayed in New York for a long time, all of them remember that day, where they were when they got the news of the Twin Towers. Many of them saw it from a distance also, the destruction of the Twin Towers. See, 9/11 has a different meaning for us who are devotees and followers of Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada and Swami Vivekananda. The meaning for us is, on 11th September 1893, in the World Parliament of Religions, Swami Vivekananda gave his remarkable, significant, earth-shaking address. And what did he say there? You see the direct connection between 9/11 Chicago, 1893, and 9/11 New York, 2001. In Chicago, 1893, 9/11, Swami Vivekananda gave a call for the harmony of religions. He said, I am proud to belong to a religion which not only tolerates other religions, but accepts them all as true. When you talk about religious toleration, dharma sahishnuta, see, in the very word toleration, violence is there. Why? I feel I am right, you are wrong, I'm just tolerating you. But toleration, see, when you love somebody in your family, when you respect somebody, when you have shraddha for somebody, do you say, I'm tolerating you? That's not a friendly word, that I'm tolerating somebody. Complete acceptance of the truths of the different religions. That's what Hinduism has always taught. But this is not true across a great section of the world. This is something difficult to convey to Indian audiences. If you see an advanced country, most powerful country in the world, United States of America, but the attitudes regarding religion are very interesting. I remember I was in the World Parliament of Religions in Toronto a few years back. And there were many speeches, many representatives of different religions. One was an interesting talk by a young Christian evangelist. And he gave a talk, we all went to hear it. See, they are a little narrow and fanatical. So his position was that our goal as a Christian evangelist is to love Jesus and to live our life as Jesus has taught us. That's very good. That's a wonderful thing. Number one. Number two, to tell other people they are wrong and have to bring them back to our path. So I asked, you admire and love Jesus Christ, so do I. You want to live the life as Jesus has taught. That's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful thing. But the second thing you said, that all the people who do not follow my religion, they are wrong, and it's my duty to tell them that they are wrong, and my duty to bring them to my path. How is this a central teaching? Why is this important? He said, no, it is important. That is a central part of our religious practice. Part of my practice is to go out and convert other people back to my religion. Because you are wrong and I am right. This is a problem. And it's a problem, it has been a problem for a long time. It's led to fanaticism, intolerance, and outright violence and warfare for many, many centuries. And today it's an even bigger problem because the world has become so small. One problem in one part of the world affects everybody else. It is in this context that the teaching of India and the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna is very, very important, and especially for the whole world at large. Not so much for us. We already know this. We already accept it. A rabbi, who is a Jewish teacher from Jerusalem, was once visiting Belur Math, and it was my duty to show him around. And I told him about Sri Ramakrishna, Jato Mat, Tato Pat, the harmony of religions. He said to me, this rabbi from Jerusalem, he said to me, you all talk so much about harmony of religions, but I don't see any seminar, workshop, paper publication, discussion. I said, you are right, because we don't need that. We have, the whole culture has imbibed this. From the Rigvedic time, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. The truth is one, the wise speak of it, wise express it in different ways. From that time onwards till now, it's not just Pandits, it's not just Vedic scholars, it's not just monks, but everybody in India, all Hindus, Indians in general, are deeply accepting of diversity in religion. They may not know Sanskrit, they may not know the quotation, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, but it's part of our culture. See, every village, every person there, literate, illiterate, for centuries, they know, I worship, say, Krishna in that temple, in the Radha Krishna temple. My neighbor worships Ma Kali in that Kali temple. Another neighbor worships Shiva in the Shiva temple. They are all correct. It's not that this one is correct, that one is wrong, I have to bring him to this. No. And then when other religions come, so Islam comes, Christianity comes, how does the Hindu react? Oh, that is also correct. Just as I have so much diversity in my own tradition, one more approach. Why should it be wrong? That's also all right. I heard a talk by Christian missionary in Texas. It's available on YouTube. He is talking to a group of young missionaries who are being trained to go out and convert people into Christianity. And he says to them, the problem in India is different. In every other country, you have to go and convince why my religion is correct. Jesus is correct, Christianity is correct. In India, if you go and say this, people will immediately accept, you're right, correct. The problem in India is different. They are ready to accept what you teach, but they will never accept that only this one is correct and everything else is wrong. That they will not accept. So this is the unique problem of India. I don't see it as a problem. We don't see it as a problem. We think this is the strength, this is the culture of India. That's true. And it's something that has led to this enormous diversity of thought in Hinduism. I sometimes am called to teach about Hinduism to school students in the United States, in different schools where there are no Indians, they have no idea about Hinduism. I say, Hinduism is so diverse that if you ask any question, answer will be yes and no. For example, do Hindus believe in God? Yes and no. There are schools of Hinduism, like Sankhya, for example. They don't talk about God. Ishvara is not mentioned there. Is God male? It's a big thing. We will say in Hinduism, yes and no. God is male, God is female. Worship of God as the Divine Mother is a central part of Hinduism. Worship of Devi, central part of Hinduism. And God is beyond gender also. So all kinds of views are within Hinduism. We don't say this is right and that is wrong. We don't do that. There's an American Swami, a monk of our order, American, senior monk. Once I asked him, how did you become a monk of the Ramakrishna mission? How did you become a Hindu monk? He said, I grew up in South Carolina in the United States, long way ago, 1960s, 50s, 60s. And I found all the little churches in our area, each church was teaching, we are right and everybody else is wrong. That other church across the street, they are wrong. Not only wrong, they will go and burn in hell forever. Only we will be saved. Every church is saying that. We are right, everybody else is wrong. And then he said to me, I felt, as a teenager, I felt maybe everybody is wrong. And then he lost interest in religion for some time. Many years later, while traveling in Europe, he got a book, Vedanta for the Western World, a publication from our Vedanta Society of Southern California. And he realized that this book is telling me not that one is right and all others are wrong. Not that all are wrong. No. It is telling me all are right. In different ways, all are right. There are different approaches to the truth. And then I decided, oh, this I accept because I feel this in my heart. And so he became a monk. How is this possible? See, we may say these things, but if you go to a professor of religion, if you go to a philosopher, how different things can be two opposite truths. How can they be both true? It's good to see that all religions are true, but how? Each religion is teaching different things. How can it all be true? So this is where Sri Ramakrishna's teaching is very relevant. Sometimes I am sad that it is so relevant. If it was that, if people accepted the truths of all religions, then we would say Sri Ramakrishna is saying, Jato mat tato path. We all know, we all accept it. Good. That would have been a better world. But that is not the world we live in. So the Sri Ramakrishna's teaching continues to have great relevance in this day and age. That same rabbi whom I mentioned, he invited me to an interfaith conference, international interfaith conference. I asked him, as Hindus, as followers of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Ma Sharada, we accept the truths of all religions. Whatever you are teaching in that interfaith conference, we accept it already. So what will I go there for? He said something interesting. He said, that's fine that you accept it all. Now you should go there to share this with others. That people need to hear this. So what is Sri Ramakrishna's message about the harmony of religions? How can have so many religions, so much difference, how can they be harmonized? Just think about it. You believe in God. The Buddhist doesn't even talk about God. There's no, some of the Buddhists are actually, they argue against the existence of God. How can both be true? God is there, God is not there. How can both be true? One interesting clue that American Swami gave me. He said, when you listen to different religious teachers, different religions, listen carefully to what they teach. And when they criticize others, you ignore that part. So what they teach, often they have something very valuable to teach. Something unique sometimes. Each religion has something unique to contribute. Listen carefully. But when they criticize other religions, that part you ignore. Sri Ramakrishna said, first, most important point, that God is infinite. Tini ananta. Tini ananta, path ananta. God is infinite, paths are many. So God is actually infinite. He gave a nice example. He said there was an ant, and that ant saw a mountain of sugar and went there and dragged one little grain of that sugar back to its hole with great difficulty and looked back to the mountain and said, I will come back and take the whole mountain. Of course, the ant cannot do that. And that one grain of sugar is enough to fill its little tummy. Similarly, God is infinite, all that ultimate reality. You need not even call it God. Call it Brahman, call it Buddha nature, whatever you call it. That is infinite. And when we approach it, we see one perspective of it or one part of it. So the very infinity of God is the basis for the harmony of religions. Second point, Sri Ramakrishna says, see how he develops this. Not only God is infinite, but that infinite reality can be expressed in different language. This is Vedic. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. The truth is one, but it can be expressed in different ways. When you enter the Vedanta Society of New York, in the hall, in big letters it is written, the truth is one, the wise speak of it differently. So, what is the name of God? There is no one name. This, again, in Hinduism, it's very well known. Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000 names. Lalita Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Devi. So, there can be different language can be used to express. Why? Two reasons. When you look at Advaita Vedanta, the ultimate reality, which is existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda, that actually cannot be captured in language. Language cannot designate that ultimate reality. So whatever language you use will fall short of it. And you can use different language to point to that reality. So that's Advaita Vedanta. But you come down a little from Advaita Vedanta, Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita, different forms of devotional religion. There, infinite means something else. Ananta Gunakam, Ananta Kalyana Gunagana. Infinite auspicious qualities are there in the Lord, in Saguna Brahman, in Ishvara. And therefore, you can have many names, you can have many designations. See, language operates in two ways. The ultimate reality, the absolute Nirguna Brahman, language cannot refer to it. You can only point to it. And you can use different language to point to it. But for Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, the Lord Jagannath, Lord Shiva, whichever form you have different forms, you have different names. Sri Ramakrishna gave his famous example. Pukur, Pukuri. Sri Ramakrishna, he grew up in a village in Bengal. So he said, I noticed in the same, same pond, different communities would come. Hindus would come, Bengalis, they would call it jal. Muslims call it pani. The Englishmen come and call it water. But they are all referring to the same reality. They're using different language to refer to the same reality. So this is, Sri Ramakrishna's similes and metaphors are unforgettable. Once you hear them, you can never forget. Different language can refer to the same reality. And therefore, different religions, they can call God by different language. Not just words, conceptualization also can be different. And that does not mean that one is right and the others are wrong. Because no concept adequately captures the absolute reality, number one. Second, different concepts can refer to different aspects of that infinite reality. So those are all correct. They are all right. That story about the 5 blind men and the elephant. So when the 5 blind men, they come and touch the elephant, they were asked, what is the elephant like? One of them said, it's like a rope. He had touched the tail of the elephant. Somebody said, it's like a fan. He had touched the ear of the elephant. Somebody said it's like a big pipe. He touched the trunk of the elephant. Somebody said elephant is like a pillar. He had touched the leg of the elephant. Now they were not wrong. All of them were right. But they were not completely right. It's not only that. The other parts, the others are also correct. The chameleon, the bahurupi, there's a kind of lizard you see in the garden. It changes color. For camouflage, it changes color. So somebody said there's a strange creature which lives under a tree, which lives in that tree. It is red. Somebody else said, no, I've seen it. It is yellow. Somebody else said, no, I've seen it. It is green. Now, a person who lived near the tree, who knew that creature, he said, you are all right. It is sometimes red, sometimes green, sometimes yellow, sometimes no color also. So, infinite qualities, infinite expressions, infinite names. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. So what? Now, Sri Ramakrishna says, our goal in life is to realize this infinite reality. Manushya jibaner uddeshya Bhagavan labh kara, Ishwar labh kara. Simple statement, but so powerful. If you think, what is our goal in life? I was telling yesterday or somewhere that Maharaj said, I lived in Hollywood and New York, and then I was in Boston at Harvard. These three different places, they have their different goals. In Hollywood, you are successful. If you are connected with the film industry, you are glamorous, then you are successful. In New York, in Wall Street, you are successful. If you are rich, you are a billionaire, multi-billionaire, then you are successful. In Boston, in Harvard University, you are successful if you are a Nobel Prize winner, in your field. Somewhere it is glamour and beauty, somewhere it is money, somewhere it is learning. But one thing I noticed, in no place people are happy with it. Even if you are a well-known actor or actress in Hollywood, even if you are a billionaire on Wall Street, even if you are a Nobel Prize winner, not happy. I have known people in each category, not happy, which means money, glamour, learning, they are not the ultimate goal of life. There is something beyond that. By themselves, neither money, nor fame, name and fame, nor learning, it cannot give you lasting satisfaction. Sri Ramakrishna says, ones and zeros, no matter how many zeros you collect, you will still have zero. But if you have a 1, you put a 0 after that, that will have value. Put another 0 after that, it will become 100, it will have value. Put another 0 after that, it will become 1,000, it will have value. I remember many years ago, a scientist from the Indian Institute of, I think, chemical biology or something like that in Calcutta, this young scientist, the Bengali scientist, he told me an interesting story. He's a devotee. He told me a story that in his subject, there was an international seminar in Japan and he had gone there. And the authority in that field, a Japanese professor, at night they had a party, they get together. So the professor, he relaxed, he was talking, and then he said, the professor told this young man, he said, I am at the top of my field. My books are textbooks in different departments across the world. Every year I go to international conferences. I am married, I have kids, I have a house, a nice car, everything is there, but it's nothing. It's all zero, it's all nothing. And he started crying. Then this gentleman, he told me that I didn't know what to do. I just told Thakur's story, that 1 and 0. That the more zeros you accumulate, you will feel at the end of your life it's just 0. But if you have 1, after that all zeros will have value. Even if you don't have the zeros, the 1 will have value. Now I did not explain, that scientist did not explain what is 1 and what is 0. He did not even talk about spirituality. But the Japanese scientist understood. He said, who said this? This Bengali, this scientist, he said, in our part of country, there was, in 19th century, there was a saint, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he said it. The Japanese scientist said, wise guy. He's a wise guy, right? So, I noticed that. It's not that in Hollywood or New York or Boston there's no happy people. There are people who are happy, but I've noticed one thing, inevitably, for sustainable happiness, inevitably in these people's lives, some kind of spirituality is there. It doesn't have to be Vedanta. It doesn't have to be yoga. It could be Buddhism, it could be Christianity, it could be any religion. Some kind of deep spirituality is there, then some peace is there, some happiness is there. So Sri Ramakrishna says, the goal of human life is to realize this reality. Which reality? Which is infinite, which can be expressed in many different languages and terms. So goal is to realize that. How will you realize? Now see the master stroke, the strategy. Sri Ramakrishna says, your goal is to realize that infinite reality. How will you realize? There are different paths. All the religions of the world are different paths to the same goal, to realize that reality. You see, harmony. If I say, my religion is right, your religion is wrong, there will be a clash. But if I say, goal is to realize that absolute reality, and all these different religions are different paths. But if you say, no, how can they be a paths to the same reality? I say Ishvara, you say Allah, that person says God, how can they all be same? Remember, different language, can you refer to the same reality? See how Sri Ramakrishna is constructing this paradigm for the harmony of religions. The different religions are different paths for the realization of that same reality. Once, you're sitting in Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna, and these devotees had come, Brahmo devotees. He said, look, some of you came by carriage, some crossed the bridge, some came by boat, some came by walking, but ultimately you all have come here. Similarly, he says, the Brahmo will realize the ultimate reality. The Vaishnava will realize it. So will the Shakta. So will the Musalman and the Christian. By different paths, they will reach that same reality. Sometimes we in the Ramakrishna mission, sometimes there's a new criticism. You are saying all religions are same. But we never say that. Sri Ramakrishna also never said all religions are same. If you're going to a particular path, will you say all paths are the same? No. Different paths are there and different paths are different. You will get different scenery in different paths. Different paths have different approaches. But they will work. They are valid because they work. They take you to your destination. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is saying. He is not saying all religions are the same. He's saying religions are different. And that's good. Religions are different. That is the richness in God's empire. These are different paths to the realization of the same divinity. Swami Vivekananda sort of classified all the practices in different religions under 4 heads. One is knowledge, which especially you find in Advaita Vedanta and a little bit in some forms of Mahayana Buddhism. Not so much in other religions. Path of knowledge. The realization, my inner reality is that infinite absolute reality. Aham Brahmasmi, by inquiry. But there is the path of meditation. By the control of the mind, by deep meditation, one can actually realize the absolute. Patanjali Yoga is that path. There is the path of devotion, bhakti, surrender, prema. And all theistic religions are basically bhakti religions. Shaktaism, Vaishnavism, then Shaivism, then Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they are all bhakti religions. Devotion to the absolute reality. Expressed in different ways, in different language. 4 yogas. And then he talks about karma yoga, transforming our activity, work into spiritual practice. But all of them will take you to the same goal. The 4 yogas will take you to the same goal. Religions which are so different. I mentioned Buddhism, no God. Hinduism, God. How can they both be the same? How can they lead you to the same goal? Well, the Mahavakya, Tattvam Asi, that thou art. Chandogya Upanishad, you are that reality. That means God. Tvam means you the Jiva. When you investigate your own reality, who am I if you investigate? In Upanishadic way, Drigdrishya Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka, Avastatraya Vichara, you will find I am pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness is the reality of God. Meister Eckhart, a German mystic long ago, He said, "The ground of my soul and the ground of God are one and the same ground." That means the reality of myself and the reality of God is one and the same reality. By Buddhism, when you inquire into the self and you find there is no apparent self, you realize you are released into Buddha nature. The same thing that the devotee will find when the devotee reaches God. Tattvamasi, that thou art. All religions lead to enlightenment. That is the truth of the different religions. Then, one more thing. There must be Ishtanishtha. See, now Sri Ramakrishna is reversing it. He said, all are true, but you have to pick one. You see, all paths will lead you here. But that means you cannot start driving in all the paths. You have to take one path. You have to select one option and then hold on to it. Sri Ramakrishna says somebody was digging for water. And he found it's difficult, not getting water. So he went to another place and started digging. And he went to another place and started digging there. Everywhere, nowhere he found water. But if he had dug deep enough in one place, he would have found water there. Similarly, you take up one practice, one stream of sadhana and do it all your life until you get enlightenment, until you get God realization. See, the problem is even more these days. Why? Because so much is available. YouTube. So much is available. And people ask, Swamiji, which one should I do? Should I worship Krishna? Should I do Vipassana meditation? Should I, do Sufi singing or something? Which one will I do? And some people do everything together, khichdi. There, Sri Ramakrishna says, I met one person, very interesting person, in Belur Mutt in a convention he had come. He said, practice of the harmony of religions. I practice it in my life. On Mondays, I am a Hindu, I worship Shiva. On Tuesdays, I am a Christian, I would go to like that. One day he is Muslim, one day is Buddhist, one day is Jain, one day is Sikh. Whole week is full, different religions. That is not the harmony of religions. I mean, he's a good intentioned person, but that is not the harmony of religions. Harmony of religions is that first of all, there must be Ishta-Nishta, a dedication to a particular ideal. So, maybe your ideal is Krishna, and you have got a Krishna mantra, and you worship Krishna. And there are so many beautiful stories and songs about Krishna. This is your whole religion, Vaishnava approach to Krishna worship. Good. But then, Sri Ramakrishna says, that Krishna is also the Kali of the Shakta. That Krishna is also the Shiva of the Shaivite. That Krishna is also the God, Father in heaven of the Christian, the Allah of the Muslims. It's the same reality, but in different names and forms. Ishta-Nishtha must be there. Otherwise, progress in spiritual life is not possible. Sometimes I think, when religions are fanatical, I am right, everybody else is wrong, there is a truth there. There is a truth there. What is the truth? That if you sincerely follow one thing and cut out everything else, spiritual progress can be fast. That much truth is there. But that does not require you to be narrow, fanatical and violent towards others. Then you are sabotaging yourself also. Sri Ramakrishna, somebody said, so according to Sri Ramakrishna, everything goes. They say, sab chalta hai. No. There's some things he rejected straight away. Fighting in the name of religion. Narrowness in the name of religion. Violence in the name of religion. I am right, you are wrong. He called it motuar buddhi. Narrowness. That he rejected sharply. They said that is not spirituality. That is basically the spirit of Hinduism. Generally, all Hindus, everywhere. If you try to say that in this audience, if I say, your religion, our religion here is right, everybody else is wrong, you will all feel uncomfortable. So that's basically our attitude. But there should be Ishta-Nishtha, grounded in one tradition. Then what about other traditions? There should be respect and Shraddha. My Lord alone, my beloved Lord alone is being worshipped in that form by that man in that place. I have seen Belur Mutt, our headquarters. Just outside Belur Mutt there is a mosque. Now I have seen Chhat Puja. So especially from the Bihari community, Early morning they will come for the puja. The Ganga is there, which worship of the sun, early morning. So thousands of people, especially women, are very sincere about this. So thousands and thousands come. I have seen many times as they pass the mosque, as they are passing the mosque, what do? Automatically, a sign of respect, of reverence. Naturally, they are not thinking twice about it. They are not thinking, ekam sadvipra bahuda vadanti, and therefore I should do this. No, it's natural in the culture of everybody. So respect for all other paths and practice of your own path. Let me now summarize a little bit in Oriya. Maharaj had said, if you remember, please summarize a little bit in Oriya. I have actually made 5 points. Sri Ramakrishna, Jatamat Tatapat Kahuthale, as many religions, so many paths to God. ये 5टा पॉइंट अच्छी. प्रथम से जो सी अनंत ईश्वर भगवान अनंत तांकर जैन कथा अच्छी अनंत धर्मकम वस्तु. Ultimate reality has many aspects, infinite aspects. Second, यही अनंत वस्तु को मु बहु प्रकार ताकू प्रकाशित करि पारिबी. शब्द व्यवहार करले बहु शब्द रे बहु अभिधा बहु ना देकी ताकू डाकी पारिबी. किए अल्लाह कहउचंती, किए गॉड फादर इन हेवन कहउचंती, किए विष्णु कहउचंती, किए देवी कहउचंती, दुर्गा काली कहउचंती, किए नारायण कहउचंती, शिव कहउचंती. ऑल डिफरेंट नेम्स किंतु सेही एका अनंत वस्तु को निर्धारित करछि. तामरे यानो जो मु जो भाषा कहउछि सेटा ठीक अन्य माने भूल एमतिया न. सेकंड, तृतीय आश्चर्य कथा ए अनंत वस्तु प्राप्त करिवार होछि जीवनर उद्देश्य. ईश्वर लाभ जीवन उद्देश्य, ज्ञान लाभ ब्रह्म ज्ञान लाभ जीवनर उद्देश्य. पैसा जीवनर उद्देश्य नुह, मान जस ख्याति जीवनर उद्देश्य नुह, विद्या भी जीवनर उद्देश्य नुह. ईश्वर लाभ जीवनर उद्देश्य. कहीं बिकॉज जो ईश्वर लाभ करिले अनंत सुख दुख निवृत्ति हुए. सुख और दुख निवृत्ति आम समस्त चाहूँ. मु सुख चाहूँ, आनंद चाहूँ. किसी पचार कहीं चाहूँ, देयर इज नो आंसर टू दिस. इट्स अल्टीमेट एम फॉर ऑल लिविंग बीइंग्स. श्री रामकृष्ण कहते जे जदि सच्चरे चाहूँ यहाँ देन दैट अटेनमेंट ऑफ दैट गॉड रियलाइजेशन ईश्वर लाभ तुमको ये अनंत सुख मिल दुख निवृत्त हम. से ईश्वर लाभ हूँ जीवनर उद्देश्य. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट ईश्वर लाभ जीवन उद्देश्य केमता करी. यही सब जो धर्म अच्छे पृथ्वी रे जो स्पिरिचुअल ट्रेडिशंस अच्छी ये सब गोटे गोटे रास्ता, एक पथ से ईश्वर दर्शन से ईश्वर लाभ भगवान लाभ रे पहुँचापी. अतएव झगड़ा करिवार किसी कारण नहीं. मोर सत्य तुम सत्य नुह. यही रास्तार जाइए भी मुझे पहुँचबी लिंगराज मंदिर रे, से रास्तार जाइए भी पहुँचबी लिंगराज. कौन कहे केमता कहे ये रास्ताटा ठीक से रास्ताटा भूल ना कहींपारे. यही गोटे छोटिया जिनस बहुत लोग बुझुना आज पृथ्वी रे. आमर किंतु असुविधा ना. आम ऑटोमेटिकली आम कल्चर रे अच्छे आम वी आर वेरी कंफर्टेबल विथ इट. गोटे कथा कहूँ इंग्लिश रे कहनी बट आई टेल यू नाउ. हार्वर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत इंपोर्टेंट जने बड़ प्रोफेसर क्लूनी अच्छा, फ्रांसिस क्लूनी. से हिंदुइज्म पढ़ाती से हार्वर्ड रे. से गोटे बही लिखिं रीडिंग द हिंदू एंड क्रिश्चियन क्लासिक्स. 3टा हिंदू शास्त्र 3टा क्रिश्चियन बही एका संगे पढ़ी पढ़ी कौन शिखिले लिखिं बहीटारे. से बहीटा लॉन्च है ऑनलाइन. 2 जन बड़ बड़ विदग्ध पंडित, जड़े ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी और जड़े शिकागो ना कुआड़ू, से कमेंट करेंगे जे अमेरिका शिकागो थे जूइश स्टडीज बड़ प्रोफेसर. तांको कथा शुणिक आप चमकी जी. बहुत नेचुरल कथा आम समस्त शुणिले अबाक हो. सी कहते फाइनाली से प्रोफेसर क्लूनी को सी कहते आप बही लिखिं ठीक अच्छे कि कौन लाभ कौन. अल्टीमेटली यू हैव टू डिसाइड वन इज करेक्ट एंड अदर इज रॉन्ग. आम केमता भावा जड़े किए पढ़ी हिंदू क्लासिक्स एंड क्रिश्चियन क्लासिक्स वी विल बी वेरी हैप्पी. किंतु सी पचार ये कौन लाभ एमती बही लिखिक लाभ कौन अल्टीमेटली ये पढ़ो से पढ़ी तुम कौन पढ़ुच ठीक करने कि यहाँ ठीक अन्य गुड़ा भूल आम केवे एमती भावुनु सो यहाँ हूँ तृतीय कथा विभिन्न रास्तार विभिन्न पंथार प्राप्त हो पार जे गोटे ठीक माने अन्य भूल कभी केवे नुह दैट्स नॉट द लॉजिक ऑफ पाथ एंड गोल द लॉजिक ऑफ पाथ एंड गोल मल्टीपल पाथ्स कैन लीड यू टू द सेम गोल चतुर्थ कथा विभिन्न पंथा ठीक विभिन्न संप्रदाय विभिन्न धर्म ठीक निश्चय हो पारे किंतु यह माने या नुह कि मुझे सब गुड़ा करी एका सांगे इष्ट निष्ठा चाहिए जो मोर गोटे आई हैव अ पर्टिकुलर पाथ रास्तार भी जदि कि भुवनेश्वर मठ को आसुँच गोटे रास्ता देखी गूगल मैप आपको देखुची रास्तार महाराज कहते सब पथ करेक्ट एवरी रोड इज राइट टे रास्ता जी टे से रास्तार जी केवे पहुँच पारे बुलुवे सो गोटे रास्ता धरिया पड़ो सो इष्ट निष्ठा यहाँ हूँ चतुर्थ पॉइंट आ पंचम पॉइंट ठाकुर जो हार्मोनी ऑफ रिलीजियंस रे से कहते मोर इष्ट देवता यहाँ वैष्णव हो पारे कृष्ण भक्त जगन्नाथ भक्त हो पारे किंतु अन्य सब रास्ता पाई अन्य सब रिलीजन पाई आई विल हैव द ग्रेटेस्ट रिस्पेक्ट ये पांचटा पॉइंट रे सी पूरा धर्म समन्वय हार्मोनी ऑफ रिलीजियंस तांकर पूरा डॉक्ट्रिन तांकर जो दृष्टि गोटे अर्थ रे एटा नुआ जिनस किछि नुह ये सब आमर अच्छी ऋग्वेदर अच्छी शिव महिम्न स्तोत्र अच्छी विभिन्न जगार जगन्नाथ पूजा स्तोत्र अच्छी अद्भुत कथा जहाँ को शैव माने शिव कहते जहाँ को वैष्णव माने नारायण कहते जहाँ को शाक्त माने देवी कहते क्या कहते जगन्नाथ को आहरी आप माने चमकी जीवे जहाँ को बौद्ध माने शून्य कहते किए कह ईश्वर को कहते शून्य जो बौद्ध ईश्वर को मानु ना आम ना कर सी मैंने भी जो रास्ता जाके पहुँचे सी भी सी आप जगन्नाथ सो दिस इज द अमेजिंग आइडिया ऑफ द हार्मोनी ऑफ रिलीजियंस आदिकाल थिला देन यू माइट वन माइट से ताले कौन दरकार श्री रामकृष्ण नुआ कथा कि कहले एई जुगरे एम्फेसिस देकी कहवार बहुत दरकार थिला सो दैट दिस इज द मेसेज दैट इंडिया कैन स्प्रेड अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड मु गोटे कथा कहीकि सारुची से अमेरिका जोटी अच्छी न्यूयॉर्क ता पाखरे अच्छी प्रिंसटन जड़े मनीषी रुहंती रॉबर्ट राइट सी गोटे बही लिखिंट सी नास्तिक डार्विनियन नियो डार्विनियन थिंकर से बही लिखिंट द इवोल्यूशन ऑफ गॉड ईश्वर क्रम विकास ईश्वर क्रम विकास हुए आम ईश्वर धारणा आमर क्रम विकास हुए एनीवे इट्स अ हिस्ट्री ऑफ क्रिश्चियनिटी इस्लाम एंड जुडाइज्म तांको भीतर जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आम विषय नुह हिंदुइज्म विषय नुह बट लास्ट चैप्टर रे से कहते शांति किपरि हो पारे बिटवीन द वर्ल्ड रिलीजन्स से कहते एंशिएंट इंडिया डिस्कवर्ड अ फॉर्मूला दैट फॉर्मूला इज एकम सद विप्रा बहुधा वदंती जो आर्नल्ड टॉइन भी कथा महाराज कहले एका कथा से कहते यही फॉर्मूला जदि आमर अन्य वर्ल्ड रिलीजन्स माने एक्सेप्ट करि पारंती ताहले देयर इज सम चांस ऑफ वर्ल्ड पीस एक कथा से कहते सो आई एम वेरी ग्लैड that I got this opportunity to meet all of you. Very glad to be here in Bhuvaneshwar Matha especially. I used to come here as a child, often spend time here. माँ टिके पुणी बकाबकी भी करुले टिके स्कोल्डिंग दौले तब ये सब बुढ़ा लोक तुम कहीं जाओ बस से अबिका तुम पढ़ापढ़ी कर खेल को जाओ वन एल्डरली लेडी शी टोल्ड मी बापा तुम जहाँ कर ठीक कर ओल्ड एज रे हुए नहीं तुम कम एज at young age you have started, you have done the right thing. So I am very much at home here, and especially Maharaj with his kindness, love and affection makes me feel more at home here in Bhuvaneshwar and in Bhuvaneshwar Ashram. Thanks to Maharaj and thanks to all of you. I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to be back here more often now. All right. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.